This week on the Rutledge Perspective, I have a question for you. Do you believe in your heart of hearts, from the tips of your toes to the top of your head, that what you want is possible? The career you want, the business you want, the life you want. Do you believe that it is possible to have it? That is a question that seems pretty simple, right? Of course we believe in possibilities because the acronym, impossible really means I'm possible. Of course we believe. But do you really? If you sit with that question, do you really believe that what you're wanting is possible? I ask this because it's a question that I ask myself. My 5-day series started this week, the 5-day Getting Grounded series, which really starts with that sure footing. What are the things that feed you? What are the things that no matter what, you can always go back to because that's where your home is, right? Looking to home. Where can you go that rejuvenates you, that renews you, that gives your spirit back, right? And in working through that process with people, with my clients, through this 5-day process as well, I'm always also doing it for me. And as I was preparing for this, to be ready for this week, this question came up. As I think about the business and I think about where I want to go and I think about the client conversations that I've had, one of the fundamental questions that is, in some cases, the root of blockage is whether or not there's a belief that the desire is possible, that the desired thing, the desired career, job, or business is possible. And one way that makes that very difficult to stand in possibilities is comparison. And it's really easy to compare yourself in this age of social media. And it's the first part of the year, right? So everybody's doing their words and everybody's doing their goals and their manifestations and talking about these huge businesses and all the things they want to do. And it's really easy to start looking at that and saying, man, I wrote my words. I've got my goals. There are the things I need to do. And everything I read, I'm watching all these other people and they're hustling. And I'm watching all of these people and they're doing a million reels and they're doing TikToks and they're doing email campaigns and they're doing all this stuff. And I'm not doing that. I don't know how to do that, or I don't want to do that, or whatever the thing is, right? But I'm seeing all of this stuff. And if I want what I want, and if I'm going to make it happen, if I'm going to be successful, I got to do all this stuff too. But if you believe it's possible, then it's a belief that it's possible for you as you. And you don't necessarily need to be someone else to do it. And that's the hard part. That's the part about really knowing who you are, grounded in those things that make you uniquely you. It's very easy to get caught up in the comparison thing. We all do it. I do it myself. I'll see something, depending on where my mind is that week, I'll see something like, man, I should have done that. Or I thought about that and I just didn't get moving. Why was I so slow? The same death spiral that everybody else goes through. That's why coaches need coaches, right? But if you truly believe it's possible, then you can also take those moments and say, wait a minute, what's going on here? That's why my behavioral mantra, and I encourage you to have one, my behavioral mantra is so important. If my words are discipline and consistency, because those are things that I do struggle with, and that's what came to me for this year as I move forward, really being disciplined, really being consistent. What surrounded that was this mantra of stay curious, curiosity. Make sure you don't lose your curiosity. Because when those times come, when I question, is this the right thing? Is it possible? Am I possible? Am I doing this the right way? Am I the right person? Can I really give an answer to that? Knowing inherently that I'm really good at what I do, right? But this is a new day, a new year, right? A whole new thing, this entrepreneurship thing. Not new now, but that whole idea of something different than what you had planned to do. And if I don't sit solid in the possibilities, then that comparison is really easy to worm its way in, right? It's easy for those things if we're not solid in who we are and solid in the belief that what we want is possible. It's easy for all of that doubt to worm its way in, to butt up against whatever your thing is, your faith practice, your meditation practice, right? Your other mantras, my trust yourself. In this moment, you are enough. In this moment, you have all you need. It's easy for those things to get in and start to rip away at the roots of those things that ground you. But if you are strong in knowing who you are, where you are, what you want, and what you're willing to do to get there, understanding that it is really possible to have what you want, it really helps to solidify, this is just a really tough time. I don't need to be that person that I just saw on social media who's got a really shiny apple, right? Because it's January, so all God's children got a course. We've all got something for you, right? For you to be able to engage in. Everybody's got something, including me, right? Everybody's got something. And yet, you don't have to look at all of those things, and do everything. You can decide and make a choice about what makes sense for you based on who you are and where you're trying to go, what resonates for you or not. Because you don't have to be the same as everyone else. You don't have to build your business the same as everyone else. Are there some basic principles? Absolutely, there's some basic principles. But you don't have to be what everyone else is. There are so many organizations and so many coaches and so many experts and million, billion, $1 trillion businesses that say you can't scale without team. You've got to be able to put a team on. You've got to be able to have people around you. You've got to be able to have employees. You've got to build your team. Got to build your team. I know, having come out of HR, number one, I know that I don't want employees. I just don't. That is not something that I want to have as a fundamental piece of the way I build my business. It just isn't. And I know me. And yet, if you listen to everybody and you listen at least to their surface conversations, that would say, Laurel, if you really want to have what you say you want to have, if you really want to be able to serve bigger, you're going to have to get some employees. Do I? Or do I just need to surround myself with service providers who get my message and build those relationships with them that enable me to still get what I need from team, but my team looks different. My team is not employees. My team is partners, right? That's different. If you are sitting in an organization and you are a project manager or you are a team lead or a supervisor or a VP or a CEO, and you're reading all of the books and you're attending all of the things, and they all tell you how you're supposed to be. That's one of the challenges with really old organizations and cultures. There's this period of time where success and the behavior attached to that success almost becomes the story that's told. I'm going to watch all these people who got to be in the roles that I wanted to be, and they yelled and screamed in meetings, or they never showed up on time, or they always were the last one to leave every day, and they showed up and they never missed a party and they never missed a meeting. And, all of these kind of things that you see, at least you think you see, that begin to make you define what success looks like and who you need to be and how you need to show up in order to be successful, in order to fulfill the possibilities that you see. But I would argue that part of that really believing that what you want is possible is being willing to be really open and really aware of what's true and what's not true, both in your own mind and in the words and perspective and agendas of those around you who are guiding you. That's why your village is so important. Are you putting people around you who can help you see through the smoke and mirrors? Do you have a support system, a network at your job that says, yeah, that person got to be in this position, but that was a while ago, and here are some things that are happening now that they're really struggling with. Or here are some concerns about that person's leadership style. And more importantly, Yeah, that might work for them, but that is not even remotely who you are. So it's going to look inauthentic for you. You're not going to be able to sustain that. And you're not going to feel good if you show up that way. So just no. If you believe in the possibility of what you're trying to do and where you're trying to go, then you are truly open to all of the information that's going to come your way that will help you design the path. It will help you design the process. It will help you understand when you need to take a detour. And it will also help you understand when you have enough information that says, this is what I wanted because this is what my life was or my circumstances were at the time. But given some things that have happened, I'm going to have to change that a little bit. I may put it on hold. I may change completely and do something completely different. Because now I know who I am. I know where I am. I know what I want and I know what I'm willing to do to get there. And it's evergreen because life changes. Our circumstances change. Information and understanding and education and experience puts us in places that we weren't when we initially made the decision of what we wanted. That doesn't mean you completely throw the baby out with the bathwater. You still may want that business or you still may want that particular role, but perhaps it's in a different organization. Perhaps it's in a different country. Perhaps it looks a whole lot different than what you thought. And maybe, just maybe, what you want is not about the title or the position or even the company. It's about the work you're doing and the impact you're making. And if you believe that what you want is possible, then you are willing to be open to the possibilities of how it can transpire. And that all begins with you really getting solid and grounded in who you are, so that nothing and no one can force you to be or do something that is not authentic. Now, I don't mean the kind of times when we have to show up to stuff just because, right? Especially if you're still in corporate America and that's where you want to be and you're learning and growing and pushing and doing those things there. That's not what I mean. Because sometimes you got to do what you got to do so you can do what you want to do. As long as it's legal, right? And compliant and not dangerous for you or harmful to others. Sometimes we just got to do that. But I'm talking fundamentally not being able to be who you are. If that's the case, if you can never show up who you are, it might be time to examine if it's possible to get what you want where you are. And sometimes you got to stay still until you can get somewhere else. But if you can't get what you need and what you want where you are, in order to really attain the possibilities and see it, may require a lot of curiosity to figure out where you need to move. What is your next plan? How are you going to make it happen? Because those possibilities also require work. Most things are not just given to us. We don't just luck upon them. As they say, luck is when preparation meets opportunity. It's about understanding. It's about seeing. It's about knowing. It's about believing. And it's about doing. Getting grounded, knowing who you are. Getting really clear on what you want, clarifying that vision, and then moving into empowered action. That's what it's all about. So this week, I ask you, do you believe that what you want is possible? I hope you do. I really hope you do, because that power in possibilities can take you so much further than just grind and hustle can. Belief can get you through a whole lot of valleys that the more you work, what you're really doing is digging yourself deeper. But that belief in possibilities can really help you, as India Kinney Stern says, take that dirt that gets at the bottom and just stand on it and keep moving up, right? Shake off the dirt that they're putting in the hole and stand on it. Stand on those possibilities. Stand on that belief in what you want and your ability to make it happen. And then do it in a way that is authentic to you. You don't have to be anyone else. Everyone else is already taken. Be you. Be the magnificent, fabulous, amazing, experienced, skilled you and move those possibilities into reality. Thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate it. I am so excited about the possibilities this year and am doing the work right alongside of you guys. And so I really am excited to see where this year goes. Please DM me. Let me know what you're thinking. Let me know what grounds you. Let me know your behavioral mantra. What thing came up for you when we talked about that? I'd love to engage with you and see what's going on. Take care, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye. You've been watching The Rutledge Perspective. Thank you for tuning in. If we have given you a different perspective, or if you've learned something new that you hadn't thought about before, please subscribe to the Rutledge Perspective podcast where you get your favorite podcasts, and give us a like on iTunes or Google Play or Stitcher. We really appreciate it. And your feedback is important as well, as we use that to inform our next episodes. You can also head over to my website, laurelrutledge.com, and download a freebie called Where's My Mojo that can really help you get out of your rut or maybe talk you back off that ledge of frustration. You can also find previous episodes of The Rutledge Perspective on laurelrutledge.com. I really appreciate your tuning in. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.